Hello everyone. Good day to you all. I'm Maria Eduarda Silva, and I have an MBA in project management for UTFPR here in Brazil, UTFPR. And nowadays, I'm a product manager for the asset lifecycle management team at Trimble. I'm also a member of the Trimble Women's Network employee group, and I was recently elected a regional changemaker for diversity, equity, and inclusion for LATAM. Today, we're going to talk more about data analytics in Trimble and how this area is a strategic trend. Our special guest today is our portfolio manager for data analytics in Trimble, Stefania Radopoulou. I hope I had said your last name correctly. Carlos Irtes. I don't know if it's correct as well, but it's welcome in Greek. Hello, Stefania.
Hello, perfect pronunciation, perfect accent. You hit it on the spot. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Good, good. So tell us a little bit about you and some backgrounds on your tech.
Sure. So first and foremost, I'm a mom to a sweet 2-year-old and a wife to a very caring husband. When it comes to career, my background is in civil engineering. I have a master's in engineering project management and another one in transportation. I've also done a PhD, the topic of which was on automating road condition monitoring. I joined Trimble in 2016 through the graduate rotational program. I was the first to join with a PhD, and I did 4 roles, 6 months each for 2 years. One on strategic marketing, another one on technical sales, then on product management, and finally business development. I then embarked on more permanent roles. Product management was the one that intrigued me the most. So I started with that, transitioning to market management, and currently, as you already said, I'm the portfolio manager for the data analytics within Trimble. I've worked with multiple businesses and several sectors. Trimble is very diverse in the markets that it serves. So I've worked with rail, mobile mapping, construction, SketchUp, augmented reality technologies, and currently with data science. I'm also part of the Trimble Women's Network, helping with organizing different events and actions in the Benelux region, because I'm based out of the Netherlands.
Awesome, awesome. I love that TWN is such an incredible ERN that we call Employee Resources Network. It's amazing. And how do you get into this tech area? Can you give us some backgrounds?
Of course. So my path is quite different from the traditional starting from computer science. So as I said, I started as a civil engineer, but I entered the tech world through my PhD. So when I applied for PhDs, I got contacted by my then supervisor, who was like, I saw your application. I'm part of the civil engineering group that I had applied to. I'm doing computer vision and machine learning, trying to solve problems within the construction world. Would you be interested to join my group? At the time, I had no idea what I'm going into, but I loved the projects that he discussed, and I've always loved photography. So I was like, yes, why not? I will learn more about that. It was a rough journey. I had to build a lot of background, learn how to program, understand the fundamentals of signal processing, computer vision, machine learning, and all of these things. But it was a challenge that made me stronger, and I'm so happy that I tackled and I embarked in this world, because now, through Trimble and the work we're doing here, I can help with people's lives and processes.
Incredible. And you mentioned that you have PhDs. So tell us a little more. I tossed it into your LinkedIn and I saw MIT and Cambridge in your profile. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the areas that you studied?
Sure, absolutely. So at MIT, I did my master's in transportation. MIT is a great school. I won't say the opposite, but it was a school on life for me as well. That's where I started learning more about technology, algorithms, programming, coding, ideas, turning into research, turning into startups and companies and helping the world out there. It was very inspiring, full of energy. It was also the first time I was living abroad. I'm originally from Greece, all by myself without knowing anyone, speaking and communicating in a language other than my mother tongue. And from a cultural perspective, it was a huge eye opener because I met people from all over the world, learned their cultures, learned about their expectations, their paths. It was fascinating. And then on the transportation side of things, it was amazing because I was learning things about the US, but then the US in particular, but then all of Americas as well. Now in Cambridge, I did my PhD. I was part of the civil engineering department and a member of the construction information technology lab. That's where I delved into research and the tech world. Cambridge's style is very different from the US. I'm not very familiar with the Brazilian one. However, the difference is that in the US, you do a lot of courses, you spend a couple of years building the fundamentals, and then you have another few years to do your research. In Cambridge, you only require to take 2 courses, and you start with research on day 1. So you're thrown in the woods a little bit faster, and you need to be done in 4 years. So my thesis was on automating road condition monitoring. The idea was to take advantage of parking cameras that cars have, take a video of the roads that drivers are driving through, and identify different defects along the way. I built a program to do that. And the idea is to minimize the time that crews are spending out there detecting defects and point them out to specific locations that issues exist, so that we can save money, time, and also with potential accidents. So yeah, it was it has been a fascinating journey.
Yeah, definitely. And how have you joined Trimble? It was during your PhD or after it?
So I joined Trimble straight after finishing with my PhD, but I met Trimble during my PhD times. So Trimble was funding a lab mate of mine, and Trimble employees were coming in to visit him, follow his research, but they were always interested in the rest of the group as well. So I started learning more about Trimble, about the different businesses, about the different markets that they are serving, about the potential working with Trimble. And then in my last 6 months of the PhD, I found out about the graduate rotational program, which, as I mentioned, it's a 2-year program. You rotate through teams and different roles every 6 months. So 4 different roles, 4 different teams. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I don't have to decide now what I want to do next. I can have another 2 years to explore. And the other thing that fascinated me with Trimble is that it's a worldwide company. We have offices all over. Yes, the base is in the States, in Colorado in particular, but there are big offices all over the world. And as I mentioned, I'm currently based out of one of the offices in the Netherlands.
Yeah, and we have like 2 big offices in Brazil. We have one in São Paulo, in Campinas, and we have another one in Londrina, where I'm located. So very nice. So let's talk a little bit about data and data analytics. So we have heard several times about data is the new oil and data is our most important asset. Uh, do you agree with those statements?
I do and I don't. I don't from the perspective that they're very heavy loaded expressions, but it is true that data is very important. I would say it's a commodity. So it's everywhere. It's with the advances of technology, social media, all of the software that is being developed and released every day, data is produced every single second, and it's amazing. So on the other hand, we also have mathematics and statistics and the advances of machine learning and computer infrastructure. So it gives us the opportunity to harvest all of this data that we have and utilize it for anything we want, depending on the problem, depending on the issue we're trying to solve. So yes, data is very important nowadays, and it will continue being.
Definitely. You mentioned about the opportunities and the possibilities. Tell us a little bit more about what are those possibilities of working with data today?
I would say endless. We can look at data to understand the past. We can look at data to understand the why, the how, the what. We can use data to predict the future. We can use it to prescribe more efficiently, more accurately, more specifically. Data is super exciting, and it's everywhere, as we just said, but we need to be very careful on the other hand as well. It is produced everywhere, all around us, every single second, but not all data is good. Not all data is useful. Unfortunately, there is a lot of junk out there as well. So data needs to be cleaned. Data needs to be prepped for what is coming next in the process and analyze it, because there is so much data around. We need to be very careful with what we do with it and how we're using it. And I will also take the opportunity to say PII, protecting personal information, is very big in Europe. It's very important in the US as well. I don't know how things are in Brazil, but as individuals, not only in our businesses, we need to be very, very careful with how we expose data out there. I know that within Trimble, we are doing our best to be very protective with our users' data, with how we use it in order to improve processes, in order to create new products. But us as individuals, we also should be very careful with what we expose out there. And I'm also saying this coming through my mom's sensitive vein, because unfortunately, there are people out there who will use data around them for whatever purpose. So we should be very considerate and careful with what we expose and even how we use the data.
Yeah, I totally agree. We have here in Brazil a law. It's similar to the GPDR. It's called LGPD. So it's a very, very strong law, and we are always taking care of that inside our projects here in Trimble Transportation and Trimble in general here as well in Brazil. Very interesting. And I think you mentioned that you were Greek and that you lived in the States and that you live now in Holland. And that's a funny part. I work with an American team as well now, and I'm located in Brazil. So that's a big opportunity inside Trimble. And how working with culturally diverse teams is important in your perspective?
I think it's super important. I love working with people from all over. My team is distributed between the US, Europe, and India. I think it brings different perspectives on the table. It helps with time zones. As Trimble, we're everywhere, so and we're also very considerate with people's personal lives as well. So it's nice that we have people everywhere and we can balance out the workload. On a personal note, I find it fascinating because I learn about different cultures. I'm getting exposed to so many different new things, and it can help understand myself better, improving my improve myself, improve in the way I work. It is amazing. And with the advantage of technology in general, the whole world is our oyster. So it is really nice that we have this blend of people from everywhere within the company. It provides opportunities to solve problems not only within a region but in other regions as well, but also learn from them. And you always learn of things that you can't even imagine. So it's something that might not be a problem for you is a problem somewhere else. So you can help with how you are solving it. So it's I think it's really important and useful nowadays.
That's true. Multicultural teams are the new trend, right? And working with and now let's talk working with data. So how data projects and analytics impact our daily lives. So tell some of your favorite projects where data was a key aspect of it.
Okay, so I'll share a couple of projects that have been very interesting, and I think it's nice to share. But I will start with saying that for me, the most fascinating thing working with data is that usually data leads you to where you should go. And what do I mean with this? There have been multiple times, like we had a project with a business of ours who came to us and said, you know what, we have years of data, years worth of data. Our customers have been using this product. We offer them a lot of different features in order for them to understand the energy output of their designs. Can you please help us out understand how are they using the data, how are they using the product, and help us derive some sustainability related metrics. So going initially through the data in order to clean it and prep it and see, is it enough? Is it good? Does it have issues for this particular problem? We realized and let the business know that from the huge list of features that they are offering, only 10% is being used by the customers. So that triggered their interest, saying, oh, really? We need to focus more on these particular features. And then moving on to machine learning, we produced a model that helped them understand how each of these features is affecting the output, the energy efficiency that the customers are looking for, and it was eye-opening to them. Moving on with sustainability related projects, there was another one we did with a forestry team. So there is this product that Trimble has that allows people who move logging material around an area to optimize their ways, their path and their loads. So instead of going from A to pick up something, go back, drop it, go then to another point, go back and drop it, and avoid driving around with an empty load, optimize this path. This was super interesting because we found that with this particular product, we're offering fuel efficiency, productivity, and time savings. So for me, this is very important because we really need to do the best we can to save our world. We are at times that are hard for our environment. So I'm very happy to see that Trimble is investing in sustainability, and we're adding it more and more into our products to help our customers improve their processes. And then what else? We have another project. We have worked with multiple businesses, actually. So product managers are responsible for figuring out what else should we do in a product, what shall we develop next. And we have worked with a few different businesses to help them understand how the users are using the data, sorry, not the data, how the users are using the product, and produce the so-called Sankey diagrams. If you Google it, you will see it's a work. It's like a flow showing that so many users are going from start to creating a new project to doing X and Y. And that was another thing that helped the product teams understand how the users are using the product and help them focus on what to improve, what to do next. Because, sometimes we, from the business side, are consumed with how we think about the product, but it's so important to understand how the users are using it. So for me, and that's what Trimble is trying to do in general, transform the way the world works, connecting the physical with the digital, and we always try to make everyday life better. So improving workflows, processes at work is near and dear to us.
Yeah, and data do not lie. So it's as a product managers, we are always looking at data and what are the data that we are trending now with this product that we released or with this feature, and let's get into data and see how it's going. So it's incredible to see data and to be guided by them. So the future of data analytics in your world now, what do you envision for?
Well, I think the future is bright. We only by leveraging the data we have and collecting, we will be able to continue being efficient and productive. As I said earlier, data is everywhere. We need to harvest it, clean it, prep it, use it to improve what we're doing next and how we do it. Trimble is doing that and will continue doing it. And as you said, regarding our data, which is super powerful, it's also interesting to see what doesn't work fast enough in order to save from future failures. So Trimble is transitioning to becoming a data company as well. If I dare say, maybe we even are already a data company. So there is more to come.
Yeah, you mentioned Trimble now. So let's get into this aspect. So how Trimble is seeing data. You already gave us a spoiler, but get deep into that.
So Trimble is doing its best to use good data, trustworthy data, to improve workflows and processes while making them more efficient, less time consuming and sustainable, as I already said. We are very careful with not sharing data that we shouldn't share. It's not only about the technologies we use, but it's also about the contracts we have with our customers. We always run ideas with our customers. Every sector, every business has trustworthy customers to work with and demo or beta test things before they are released. So I dare say that we're doing our best when it comes to governance and security.
Thank you, Stefania. This was amazing. Thank you thank you so much for being here with us today. Ευχαριστώ. In Greek, it's thank you, I guess. So I learned a lot from you, and I'm sure a lot of people here that's following this presentation as well. You can follow Stefania in her LinkedIn page. It's just point your smartphone to this QR code here. Any final considerations, Stefania?
Well, I will say, well, first of all, it was a pleasure being here with you. Thank you so much. Ευχαριστώ from my perspective. Enjoy the sprint that's going on in the following days. I will say a couple of things. Follow your gut, follow your passion. Don't be afraid of data. just delve into it, and it will guide you to different paths, and enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stefania. Have a good day.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.